What if a homeless man, with nothing but a tattered blanket to his name, gave it away to a shivering child on a freezing night, only to wake up the next morning in a luxurious mansion, his life transformed by a single act of kindness? This isn't just a story of generosity. It's a profound tale of divine reward, human connection, and the mysterious ways that selflessness can turn a life of hardship into one of unimaginable blessings. In a world where the poor are often overlooked, what happens when a simple act of sacrifice catches the eye of someone with the power to change everything? Prepare to be captivated, because this true story from the chilly night of May 24th, 2021, at 10:45 p.m. +7, in a small city alley, will warm your heart and remind you of the biblical truth that God sees the humble. Let's step into that frost-bitten night and witness a miracle unfold. The air was biting, the temperature dipping to a harsh 3 degrees Celsius as the clock struck 10:45 p.m. +7 on Friday, May 24th, 2021, in the city of Willow Creek. A light snow dusted the streets, and most residents had retreated to the warmth of their homes. But in a narrow alley behind a bustling diner, 52-year-old Daniel Brooks huddled against a brick wall, his cardboard shelter offering little protection from the wind. Daniel had been homeless for nearly a decade, ever since losing his job as a factory worker and spiraling into debt after his wife's passing. His possessions were few: a faded backpack, a cracked thermos, and a threadbare blanket he'd found in a dumpster 2 winters ago. Despite his circumstances, Daniel clung to his faith, often whispering prayers from Matthew 25:40. "Whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." That night, as Daniel tried to sleep, he heard a faint whimper. He sat up, his breath visible in the frigid air, and spotted a small figure curled up near the alley's entrance. A child, no older than 7, shivering uncontrollably. The boy, dressed in a thin jacket and torn sneakers, clutched his arms tightly, his teeth chattering. Daniel's heart sank. He recognized the signs of hypothermia from his own nights on the streets. Without a second thought, he stood, his joints aching, and approached the child. "Hey, little guy, you okay?" he asked softly. The boy, whose name was later revealed as Liam, looked up with wide, frightened eyes, but didn't respond. Daniel noticed the boy's blue-tinged lips and acted quickly, draping his only blanket over Liam's small frame. "Here, this'll keep you warm," he said, tucking it around him. Liam's shivering eased slightly, and he whispered, "Thank you, mister." Daniel sat beside him, using his body to shield Liam from the wind. "Where's your family?" he asked. Liam's voice was faint. "I got lost. I was with my dad, but I can't find him." Daniel nodded, his mind racing. He knew the diner nearby had a phone, but it had closed at 10 p.m. The nearest shelter was blocks away, too far for a child in this cold. "We'll find him," Daniel promised, though he had no idea how. For the next hour, he stayed with Liam, rubbing the boy's hands to keep him warm, humming an old hymn his wife used to sing, "Blessed Assurance," to calm them both. Around 11:50 p.m., headlights illuminated the alley. A sleek black car pulled up, and a man in a tailored coat stepped out, his face etched with panic. It was Liam's father, Michael Harper, a wealthy businessman who had been searching for his son since they'd been separated at a nearby festival. Michael ran to Liam, scooping him into his arms, tears streaming down his face. "Oh, God," he sobbed, wrapping his coat around the boy. He turned to Daniel, who stood awkwardly to the side, shivering in his thin jacket. "Did you help my son?" Michael asked. Daniel nodded, explaining how he'd found Liam and given him the blanket. Michael's eyes welled up again. "You saved his life," he said, his voice breaking. "I don't know how to thank you." Daniel shrugged, embarrassed. "Just wanted to keep him safe," he mumbled. Michael, still holding Liam, insisted Daniel come with them. "You're freezing. Let me help you," he said. Exhausted and too cold to argue, Daniel agreed, climbing into the warm car. Michael drove to his estate on the outskirts of Willow Creek, a sprawling mansion with marble columns and glowing windows. Daniel, overwhelmed, sat in the back seat, watching Liam sleep against his father. They arrived at 12:30 a.m. on May 31st, 2025, and Michael led them inside, where a staff member prepared a guest room with a soft bed, warm clothes, and a hot meal, Daniel's first proper meal in weeks. "Rest here tonight," Michael said. "We'll talk tomorrow." Daniel, still in disbelief, fell asleep under a down comforter, the warmth a stark contrast to the alley. When he woke at 8 a.m., sunlight streamed through the window, and for a moment he thought he was dreaming. A knock at the door revealed Michael, now dressed casually, with Liam beside him, looking healthy after a doctor's visit. Over breakfast, pancakes, eggs, and coffee served in a dining room with a chandelier, Michael shared his story. He was a single father, a tech entrepreneur worth millions, but the festival had been a rare outing for him and Liam. "I was terrified I'd lost him forever," he admitted. "If you hadn't been there." He trailed off, shaking his head. Then he made an offer that stunned Daniel. "I want to help you start over," Michael said. "I've got a guest house on the property. You can live there, no rent. I'll help you find work, get back on your feet. It's the least I can do." Daniel's eyes filled with tears. "Why me?" he asked. Michael smiled, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Because you gave everything you had to my son. That's worth more than anything I own." Daniel moved into the guest house that day, a cozy one-bedroom space with a small garden. Michael kept his promise, connecting Daniel with a local nonprofit that trained him as a maintenance worker, a job he started on June 10th, 2025, at a community center. The steady income allowed Daniel to rebuild his life: new clothes, a phone, and eventually a savings account. Liam visited often, bringing drawings and calling him Uncle Dan. Michael's staff, initially wary, grew to admire Daniel's humility, often inviting him to family dinners. By July 2025, Daniel had saved enough to donate blankets to a local shelter, a gesture that made local news under the headline, "Homeless Hero Pays It Forward." The story of Daniel's kindness spread online after Michael shared it on social media, praising the man who saved his son. The post went viral, amassing over 2 million likes. By July 15th, 2025, donations poured in, which Daniel directed to the shelter, funding a winter drive that helped hundreds. A church in Willow Creek honored him with a service on July 20th, 2025, where Daniel spoke, quoting Luke 6:38, "Give, and it will be given to you." His story inspired a citywide initiative, Blankets for All, ensuring no one faced the cold without warmth. Michael, moved by the impact, partnered with the city to fund it, naming Daniel as an ambassador. Daniel's life, once defined by loss, became a beacon of hope. He and Michael grew close, their unlikely friendship a testament to the power of kindness. Liam, now thriving, often sat with Daniel in the garden, listening to stories of his late wife. "You're like family now," Michael told him one evening as they watched the sunset. On August 1st, 2025, Daniel smiled, his heart full, knowing God had turned his sacrifice into a miracle. What does this mean for us? Daniel's story reflects Proverbs 19:17. "Whoever is kind to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will reward them." It challenges us to give, even when we have little, trusting God's provision. Here's a challenge. This week, give something small, a blanket, a meal, a kind word, to someone in need, and reflect on how it changes you. Let's close with Matthew 5:7. "Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy." A homeless man's blanket led to a mansion. Let your mercy lead to miracles. Thanks for watching. If this story moved you, like, comment, and subscribe. For more powerful real-life stories, turn on the notification bell so you never miss what's coming next. See you in the next video.